Hi, my name is Bruce Baker. Welcome to my workshop on jazz drumming. And today we're going to look at soloing. And we're going to take a beginner's look at soloing in the jazz style. And we're going to look at some fundamentals, some basic ideas that will help you on your journey to becoming a better drummer and able to play solos and fills in the jazz style. One of the key things to have as your base to build upon is subdivisions. Subdivisions just means I'm taking a beat, I'm dividing it into smaller parts. So the key subdivision in jazz is the triplet subdivision. So it's broken into threes, and it goes like this. If I set up a pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I divide it into threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the music is going to, particularly swing-based music, is going to center around that. If I'm playing a traditional swing pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, underneath that is going triplets. So I might not be directly playing it, but I'm feeling that all the time. And this is in stark contrast to a lot of the contemporary music that you've probably been exposed to or hear on the radio or your peers are playing. And that music is generally 8th note orientated or 16th note orientated, which would be 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1 and 2 and 1. So that's like an even time. This is a little bit more interesting and it creates interesting challenges for you. So the first of our subdivisions is going to be the basic beat, the basic downbeat, so which would be the quarters. And I'm going to play quarters around the drum kit with my hands alternating right, left, right. And I'm going to keep a pulse with my feet, what I would call the traditional swing pulse, which is 4 quarter notes in the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just play the bass drum lightly. I don't have to play it loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I can introduce the elements of space. I can start to leave beats out, which would, if I had to write that down, it would be rests, quarter note rests. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, once you got that going, it's time to move on to what I would call the shuffle, which is the first note of a triplet and the third note of a triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And same idea, I'm going to move it around the kit. Get it going on the snare, keep my pulse with my feet, and move it around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, I can use space. I can play some of the shuffle rhythm and then leave out and return again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we move on to upbeats, upbeat 8th notes. So out of that shuffle, if I play it and then leave out the right hand, I get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Once again, I'm going to alternate, move it around the kit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave some space and goes something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then we move on to 8th note triplets. And I'm going to do these alternating, start on the snare, move it around the kit. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can start with simple ideas of moving around the kit, but you can actually get quite involved just by moving your hands and trying different positions and trying to get a sound and a shape, a melody. You'll notice at the end there I went into this. So that was just something I kind of fell into. And that is also a key thing about jazz, is you're improvising. So you start with something and you start creating elements that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before. Our last, we can also, sorry, moving along too quickly there, we can also use space. So I'm going to play some triplet rhythms, leave some space, and go back in again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, we're going to use 16th notes. So this would be, you'd use this in between phrases, and if you want to build up a lot of tension or a fast roll in whatever you're doing. And it's dependent on tempo. So we are at a relatively slow tempo, so we can play 16th notes comfortably. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave some space. Okay, when you've got that under your belt, you've been going through all the different movements, all the different subdivisions, you want to start combining them. And this is when it starts to get a little bit more interesting. So I want to take my quarter notes, my upbeat eights, my shuffle rhythm, the eighth note triplets, the 16th notes, and start combining them. Also leaving the rests and including another musical concept, dynamics, getting loud and soft, and put that all together. So I'm not focusing on trying to create things, I'm just exploring. Once again, some things sound good, other things not so good, but you have to explore and work things out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so get control of your subdivisions and start exploring. The next topic we'll move on to is a few ideas about jazz soloing. So one of the key things is it's developed from a call and response idea, and there's a lot of melody involved. So I want to be able to play more melodically as a drummer. So soloing, I'm not going to particularly go into some licks or thing. There might be licks, but the idea is to be musical about it. So you want to create musical statements. And call and response is also a good tool to use to enable you to develop that. So you create a call, a melodic idea, and then you have another response. And this actually forces you to get away from particular licks that you might be comfortable with. So I'm going to start with a very simple idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the idea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can do a couple of things with that. I'll play that phrase and then I'll play an answer to that. I'm going to start off with a snare and then open it up a bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Also another helpful thing is to develop is singing. So if I got that phrase, ba da 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 ba do da ba ba da 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 ba ba da ba bu da da ba ba. Then I'm thinking musically, I'm creating phrases. I don't necessarily have to be a good singer or even say the right things. I'm just using arbitrary syllables just to get me to play a melodic idea. So that's a great thing. Then if I develop that a little bit further, I take that accent, I'll add one more note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can take that melodic idea and then I can do some things around it. So I could put triplets, or let's go back a bit with the shuffle rhythm. 1, 2, 3, and I can make that as accents. Use that as my starting phrase, and then I'll do a response to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I took that, I broke a little bit away from the alternating sticking, and I moved it into some doubles, some unison, and a few things. So that's how you develop things. If I use triplets, I could get an idea like this. idea. You can explore a lot more. So I'll do the call and response idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you've got all those things together, you've got control of your subdivisions, you're able to move around the kit, you've even started to apply rudiments to your subdivisions, and you've developed a little bit of call and response. You're able to hear a phrase and then answer it with another phrase, and you're starting to get some melodic shape into your soloing just by using subdivisions and some basic phrase ideas. Then the next level on that is to be able to take a jazz standard and sing it and then play around it. Play the melody and then play around it. So that would mean that you'd have to learn a tune, choose something that you'd like, and solo on it. So once again, I'm not a great singer, but I'm just going to hum basically a blues idea, and I'm going to play around with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I hope you got something out of that, and have fun practicing those ideas and developing your jazz soloing. Bye for now.